everybody, and thank you for clicking on this video. And in this one, I am back bringing you guys another Call of Duty commentary. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the brief history of Halloween. And if you're interested in looking at the full article, it will be linked down in the description. And the gameplay that you're watching is a Mob of the Dead gameplay. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start off with the ancient origins of Halloween. Halloween origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of dark, cold winter, a time of the year that is often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. In addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids, or Celtic priests, to make predictions about the future. For people entirely dependent on the violent natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort and direction during the long, dark winter. Now we're going to skip forward about 1700 years in the future to Halloween comes to America. Celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief system there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. As the belief and customs of different European ethnic groups, as well as the American Indians, meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebration included play parties, public events held to celebrate the harvest, where neighbors would share their stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. Colonial Halloween festivals also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief-making of all kinds. By the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were common, but Halloween has not yet celebrated anywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing Ireland from the potato famine of 1846, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationality. And taking from the Irish and English traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually becomes today's trick-or-treating tradition. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors. In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, the foods of the season, and festival costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstition and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. By 1920s and 1930s, Halloween had become a secular but community-centered holiday, with parades and town-wide parties as the featured entertainment. Despite best efforts of many schools and communities, vandalism began to plague Halloween celebrations in many communities during this time. By the 1950s, town leaders had successfully limited vandalism, and Halloween was evolved into a holiday directed mainly at the young. Due to the high number of children during the 50s baby boom, parties moved from the town civic centers into the classroom or home, where they could be more easily accommodated. Between 1920 and 1950, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was revived. Trick-or-treating was a relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration. In theory, families could have also prevent tricks being played on them by providing the neighborhood children with small treats. A new American tradition was born, and that continues to grow. Today, the Americans spend an estimated $6 billion annually on Halloween, making it the country's second largest commercial holiday. So yeah, guys, that is the history of Halloween. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please remember to smash that like button. And if you really like my stuff, subscribe. And thank you once again for watching this video, and have a happy Halloween. Music used in the background will be linked down in the description.